I'm asked to speak to you tonight on the question, is atheism the religion of the future? No. That ends that speech. Why atheism won't be the religion of the future is a subject that's very dear to me, and we need only to consider the atheist to discover the answer. And that's what I am here to do tonight, consider the atheist. I don't like atheists very much, if at all. This is highly unusual given that I am their principal and most articulate spokesman in America. And what brought this situation about and why they cannot be the messiahs in our culture is the subject matter of my discussion this evening. Since the prefix a in a word of Greek derivation gives a negative sense to that word, an atheist is simply a person who is not theistic, whatever theistic means. And I recognize, and I'm sure you recognize, what Webster has to say, and it's always important to make a reference back, that theism is a belief in the existence of God or gods, especially belief in the existence of one God viewed as the creative source of man, whatever creation means to the astronomers or physicists or to you or to me, as the creative source of man and the world, who, not which but who, transcends yet is immanent. Now, I don't know what transcends means. I do not know what immanent means. And for that matter, I do not know what eternal means or create means or transmigration or grace or prayer or God. And I don't think anybody else in the world knows. These are nonsense words which have special esoteric nonsense meanings to theistic idiots of all brands. Now, an atheist is a person who simply does not accept that view, the view of theism, as I said, whatever it is, and properly stands in opposition to it, because a, used as a prefix, is a privative and negates a word. Now, many people say that atheists are negative because of their appellation, but the prefix in gives a negative sense to a word too, as in independence. And isn't that a negative word? It simply means free of dependency. And independence is a treasured word in American culture, as someday the word atheist will be. To use a term of negative derivation does not mean that the philosophy of living, the Weltanschauung, flowing from it, is in any sense negative. Only the most uneducated would have so little respect for language as to make such a gross supposition. But everything depends on what one means. Let's look at atheists, known according to the degree of guts they possess, also as agnostics, ethical culturists, humanists, freethinkers, objectivists, secularists, rationalists, iconoclasts, and God alone knows how many other names to hide what they are. But tonight I'm going to call them all atheists because fundamentally they are against atheism. There are primitive atheists, philosophic atheists, and practical atheists, and I have been all three. There are also hate-ridden atheists who usually convert from Catholicism, fanatical atheists who usually convert from Jehovah's Witnesses, and the primitive atheists I meet everywhere in great numbers today, usually on campus. A primitive atheist is one who comes of intellectual age, does a double take at Christianity, finds it to be incredible, as any thinking person would, and announces, "I don't believe all that crap." and lets it go at that. These people usually join the Unitarian Church or the Ethical Culture Society and live happily ever after with substituted dogmas, creeds, and routines to fill a gap they imagine was left in their lives. They float around in a small esoteric group which plays the game of discussion in private, specifically the game of we exceptional few and our superior philosophy. The philosophic atheist does a triple take of Christianity and gets hopelessly bogged down in reading Bible, King James, Standard, Revised, Renewed, Re-edited, Reinterpreted, and then he turns to the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Torahs, the Book of Mormon, Science of Life, Owaspy, Urantia, I Ching, and other holy books, all of which are trash. He knows the teleological argument for God, or the ontological argument, or the epistemological argument, or the pragmatic or the moral argument, and how to refute them all in excess. He delights in a 2-hour discussion of Pascal's choice, and he can use up hours of priceless living time analyzing all of the religious theories, history, diverse theologies. These people have been 10 years in the American Humanist Association, and they live happily ever after, deeply immersed in obscurism, reading in depth the genteel, erudite, and completely worthless articles in the journal of that society. They play the game of beating ideas to death with words, and they usually flaunt PhDs. I need to delineate the other kind of atheist too, the one who has a hatred reaction to it all. He can recite an extraordinary number of incidents where priests were discovered to be living carnally with their housekeepers. Or he gleefully collects news items where ministers appropriated $15.73 from the roofing fund, or where ministers were named as correspondents in divorce cases, or where a young choir boy accused the mail director of indecent advances. All of these people belong to the Friendship Liberal League. This type of atheist never gets beyond his hatred, and usually this atheist has a trauma conversion to atheism and not an intellectual one, and he can well have a trauma conversion back to theism and proliferate, these atheists do, through every other category of atheist. Then there is the sectarian atheist, who flourishes only in bitter internecine warfare in the atheist groups and in factional strife therein about who is the better atheist. And they all belong to the American Rationalist Association, and a great number of them belong to the United Secularists of America. Then there is another atheist, a Maslowian type, who just has a natural human thrust to what is healthy and natural in life. His is a gut reaction as well as an intellectual one. He has a way of life, an underlying basic positivism. He is grounded in life and its natural rules. He has a freewheeling, open-ended philosophy. His emphasis is on the worth of the individual, his human dignity, his intelligence, his ability to order his own life, his ability to enjoy the emotions with which he is endowed. And his emphasis is on reason, life experience, and common sense. His life, this atheist, is unadorned with creeds, dogmas, and rituals. He does not feel that he is a part of a chosen people, but only a part of mankind. He knows no sacrificial redemptions, he bends no knees, and he bows no head. He is as negative as Columbus, who denied the flat earth,